everyone, I'm Anna Finch from Finch Press and welcome back to my channel. This is video 5 in the series about children's picture book writing and publishing. Again, this is literally just based on my experience, what I learnt, what I wish I had done, what worked for me may not work for you. So let's get started. By this stage you should have already written the children's picture book, planned it, drafted it, edited it, worked out a budget, and hired an illustrator and worked with an illustrator. So this is literally about publishing. So you've hired your illustrator, you've gotten everything done and created. You need to make sure you've already picked your format you're publishing in. You should have already done this before you hired your illustrator, and because the illustrator needs to know this. Are they creating for a digital format? Are they creating for a print format? Okay, just for the designing standpoint. Now, with formatting, you may need to hire someone to format your entire book, so put it all together for print and for ebook. And maybe Mobi, but Mobi's currently on its way out, so Kindle's currently just using normal EPUB. You may need to hire 2 separate people for it. If you're lucky, maybe your illustrator can do both the formatting. So my illustrator for Hide and Seek Alphabet formatted it perfectly for a print book. I got them to send me the EPUB, which they did, and they sent me a compressed one. They fixed it when I said something needed to be fixed, but when it didn't work, I just hired a second person for the ebook formatting, because it was I needed it done quickly. So work out if you need to hire someone for both of them, or if you need to hire someone for ebook because your artist or your illustrator is going to do the print formatting for you. Proof copies. This is an important part of publishing. If you're doing print through Ingram Spark and KDP, you need to make sure it prints correctly on both of those platforms. Okay. If something doesn't print correctly, you need to contact the illustrator to fix it. It might be a formatting issue. Okay. It might be that the text isn't embedded in the image correctly, whatever. Maybe there's important words have been cut off because the text is too close to the bleed. It needs to be moved. So if something doesn't print correctly, contact the illustrator to fix it. KDP allows you to set up for free print an ebook, and you can order a proof copy for the cost of printing and shipping only, which might be less than $10. This is Australian dollars, which is actually pretty cheap. Now obviously if you need it delivered to you faster and printed faster, you're going to pay more. But KDP is free. So what I did for Melly the Mermaid is I ordered my proof copy through KDP, so I can make the edits, any grammar edits I need, whatever edits I need to do, I can get that done without having to pay any setup costs. Once that's finalized, then I can upload it to Ingram Spark to get a author copy from Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark charges $49 upload fee. I believe, I think the $49 is for print and ebook, I believe. And they charge you $25 for each file you revise. So it will be $50 if you are doing both the interior and the cover and you're changing both of them. To print a proof copy, you need to approve the file for at least personal ordering. But if you notice any errors, you're going to need to pay the revision fee to edit the files. Now, here's the thing with the revision fee. If you have not approved the PDF e-proof file that Ingram Spark gives you, they're not going to charge you for uploading the fee, the new file, the new interior. And so they will only charge you the revision fee if you've approved the file to print an author copy. Other than that, otherwise, it will just be you can revise it continuously as long as you don't approve it. Here's just based on what I experienced. Edit using the printed proof. It's a different format. It's probably going to be the first time you've seen it. Get a trusted friend or someone who's really good with editing or grammar to look over your book. Make sure they haven't seen the book before. They'll pick up stuff you won't. When I got my printed proof copy from Ingram Spark, I was really happy with it. I took it to work. I showed a bunch of teachers, one of which was an English teacher, which didn't pick up anything. And then because I work closely with these people, they know I write and that I was doing it, and I showed one of my friends at work, an English teacher who's really good with grammar, showed him it literally just to show, hey, look what I did. And he picked up on like 4 grammatical errors or / inconsistencies that I didn't notice either. And I didn't know if those words were added in because my editing program, Pro Writing Raid, decided to add a "the" before a character's name, or if my editor didn't pick up on it. Luckily, he mentioned it, and I had the source files, so I was able to go home on my work laptop, edit the entire PDF copy, so it was all grammatically correct, consistent, pronoun use throughout the entire thing, and I had to contact the person editing my ebook to basically say, hey, these pages have changed. They changed to this. Here's the new file. And I had to redo the ebook. Definitely make sure you get someone like that to look over your book that's good at grammar. They might just save your writing career. Yeah. If you notice any grammatical errors, like what I did with hide and seek alphabet, make the edits. If you have Photoshop InDesign, you can edit PDF, PSD, and DD files yourself. Otherwise, you may need to pay the illustrator to make changes if you ended the contract. Now, if you didn't end the contract, you might have still some number of revisions you can use. You will then have to reformat your book, both the print and ebook, with the edits, and then re-upload them. And if you're doing Ingram Spark, you're probably going to have to pay a revision fee if you have to update the interior because you've approved the file to get a printed copy. Other things, so copyright and other legal obligations, make sure you know them. In Australia, I'm required to provide a legal deposit via NED, which is a system you can access via the National Library of Australia within 60 days of publication. For Voiceless, I did my legal deposit before publication. It can be a digital publication. You don't necessarily, if you're doing an EPUB and a print copy, you can just send a digital copy. But with hide and seek alphabet, I didn't remember. It was only when I was looking through and checking if I submitted it that I realized, because I had an account with Ned because of Voiceless, that I didn't submit hide and seek alphabet. Yeah, so I submitted that within the 60 days. So now this legal deposit is different from copyright. Okay, it's different from copyright. Copyright in Australia is automatic due to copyright law. You create something, you don't sell the use or license or ownership to someone else, it is yours. It is your piece of music, your piece of art, your piece of writing. Okay? Copyright exists in Australia from the moment you create your piece of work. From the moment you create your story, the moment you create your art, no matter how many revisions you do. Okay? It is yours. Ideas are not copyrighted, but the stories themselves that you do are copyrighted automatically. The legal deposit is literally just you sending a copy to the library so the library has a record of your work. So that even if it goes out of print and someone still wants to find your work, they can still find it and potentially access it through the library. It is basically to have a record in the government of a work you produced. That's it. And to make sure it says clearly who owns what in that piece of work, who contributed to it, things like that. Because they can also promote your book, the National Library of Australia. They have they put it on the system, so other libraries might see it. You need to check the requirements for your country. I'm pretty sure in the US you do have to pay for copyright registration. Now, even with the legal deposit can serve as evidence in Australia of, yeah, this is yours because you registered it first. But even if you don't register it, or even if you don't do the legal deposit before, or you will still have files that were created with your work from when you first created it, and it'll be dated. They would have a date of creation in there, so you can use that to prove. But yeah, check the requirements of your country. Australia has this thing called pre-publication data service. It's offered through the National Library. It's a free service for Australian publishers and authors who want details of their upcoming publications made available to Australian libraries via Trove. Basically, fill in the paperwork prior to your release date, submit it, they send the files, they advertise your book to libraries. They say, hey, here's this new book coming out. It comes out in these formats. Yeah. Maybe I know it's available in Australia. Other countries may have some similar programs. Upload your book to all platforms that you choose, and basically select your pricing. Check the file that you uploaded is the correct one and that it uploaded properly. Some files won't be accepted by some platforms. Nook, I learned this the hard way, won't accept EPUB 3 with fixed layouts currently. It may change in the future, because EPUB 3 is the current version of EPUB, but they won't accept fixed layouts, which sucks because children's picture books have to be fixed layouts, because otherwise the text will move all over the place. File size limits may apply for some platforms of under 100 megabytes. Draft Digital has that file size limit. KDP charges a delivery fee based on file size for ebooks. The delivery fee will also impact what you can set your price at. So for hide and seek alphabet, the platform will not let me set a price below $1.70 because of the delivery fee price. Set your prices, make sure they're consistent with all stores. Yeah. Alright, that's pretty much it. If you have published children's book before, or if you're intending on publishing a children's book, let me know down below what might be some of the requirements, legal obligations you may be required to follow in where you live, or if you've used any of those if you've used any of those legal obligations, or if you applied any of those legal obligations. How did it go with you? Otherwise, comment down below. Be a like. If you like the video, click the like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.